What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I am wrestling with myself. WWE Fastlane 2017 is this coming Sunday. It is coming up. I didn't write down where it's coming from, but it is the last stop on the road to WrestleMania. It's a last pay-per-view that is set up before WrestleMania, so we're getting all the final WrestleMania matches coming in. Everything here is building toward that show. It is a Raw brand pay-per-view. And again, like the SmackDown ones have been a little superior, much like the SmackDown show has been way superior to the Raw show in general. I barely even watch any Raw anymore at all. I think it's horrible. But I do watch pay-per-views for Raw. I do watch all of them on the network. So there are 8 matches total on this show. There's 1 pre-show match and 7 main show matches. And as usual, the card looks pretty good. I mean, the roster is stacked on both brands. It is a new era of wrestling, and so regardless of how the booking and storylines go, the matches are always going to be good. Like I say, month to month, the workers are going to work hard, and you're going to see a bunch of good matches. It's a matter of how they book the finishes and how the storylines are built up to that point. So I don't have very high hopes for this show in general, just because I don't watch the Raw TV show, and the stuff that I do watch is terrible. So I don't, especially considering what the main event is and how it's supposed to go and what I've heard about the show, I'm expecting a pretty letdown show here. But the card overall, wrestling-wise, looks pretty good. So let's get into it. I'm going to predict for you guys all 8 matches, what I think of each match, who should win, and what is going to happen going forward. So on the pre-show, the kickoff match is a Cruiserweight Division Purple Ropes match. It is a Rich Swann and Akira Tozawa against the Brian Kendrick and Noam Dar. This should be a good, fun opener. I hope it gets like 15 minutes. It'll probably get like 6 or 7 because the crowd doesn't care about the cruiserweights at all, and because it's on the pre-show. So this should get a lot of time, but probably won't. Hopefully I'll catch it on the pre-show. I don't usually watch a lot of the pre-shows, so hopefully I'll get to see it. But yeah, 4 good workers in this match. I don't care much for Dar, but I do like the other 3 guys a lot. I love the face team of Rich Swann and Tozawa. I think Tozawa gets the pin here. He's the newest guy on the roster. He's got a lot of hype behind him. He's starting to get over somewhat with the screaming chants. The crowd likes to chant with him. And he's in this feud with Kendrick. I think since he's the newest one and the freshest one, I think he gets the pin here for the faces, gives the crowd a pre-show opener to get involved with, and gives them a face team winning to start the show. So solid match, and Tozawa gets the win for his team with Rich Swann. Then we start the 7 matches on the regular show. Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax. It's their like 3rd or 4th matchup. I think 2nd pay-per-view matchup they've had. Again, they have potential to be very good together. The speed and quickness of Sasha and the good bumping skills of Sasha against the power game of Nia Jax plays the classic cat and mouse. I think this has a good story going into it, but so far in terms of the story they've written, hasn't been all that good. Sasha's been kind of getting punked by Stephanie and has a weird thing going on with Bayley, and it's kind of scattered. They're leading toward, I think, a 4-way at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's title with Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha, and Nia. So it makes sense. But Sasha, I think, has to get the win here. Nia's beaten her so far at every turn. Last time they fought on pay-per-view, she squashed her in a very quick, I think, opening match. Squashed her in like 6 minutes. So I think Sasha has to get the win back here. She's gotten destroyed by Nia at every turn so far. So I think Sasha gets the win here and gets some retribution going into the pay-per-view. And again, I think at WrestleMania, it is Sasha, Bayley, Charlotte, and Nia for the women's title. So that could be a good match. This one I'm not expecting much from, but I hope it'll be decent because they do have should have good chemistry together based on the story. Then we have the match I'm most looking forward to on this entire show. The match I think will steal this show. Sami Zayn versus Samoa Joe. These two have fought many times before in the Indies. They fought in NXT in, I think, a 2 out of 3 falls match, which was excellent. They're 2 of the best workers on the roster. Zayn has been on fire as the underdog recently. He hasn't won much, but he's been really getting the crowd's ire. Good promos with Foley. Joe is the hot new heel. He's been cutting awesome promos from what I've seen via YouTube clips, skipping Raw, of course. But I love both of these guys. They have good chemistry. This should be an awesome match. I hope it gets 15 to 20 minutes. It'll probably get more like 10, but I hope it gets a long time. These two can tell a great story, and they match up well together. Obviously, Samoa Joe gets the win here because he's the new heel. He's going on to something involved with Triple H and Rollins' program at WrestleMania, and if Rollins can't go, they'll figure something else out. But hopefully Joe gets a match at Mania too. I don't want to see him just in Triple H's corner. I want to see him get a WrestleMania match too. Whether it's a 6-person IC title match or US title match, scramble or whatever. whatever it is. Hopefully Joe gets like a Money in the Bank or something with Balor, who knows. But I want to see Joe get a big spotlight at WrestleMania. He deserves it. This match should be awesome, and Joe gets the win here. Another match that should be awesome for the Cruiserweight title is Neville defending his Cruiserweight Championship against Jack Gallagher. This should be awesome. Gallagher's a great technical wrestler. He knows a lot of fun British-style holds. He's entertaining with his umbrella. He's somewhat over with the audience because of his technical wrestling and his antics. The gentleman character's been excellent. Neville as a heel's been excellent. His promos are great. Both guys are actually at their peak right now. They're both on fire from what they've been doing on 205 Live. I do enjoy that show, even though the crowd doesn't care. Hopefully the crowd gets into this and actually gives some support to these guys because they deserve it. I think they're going to match up well. I think it's going to be a great match. And I think Gallagher's not at the level yet where Neville is ready to take the title. I think Neville needs a long title run. And I think he's going to go on to WrestleMania, I believe, to take on hopefully Austin Aries, who I think is returning soon. But actually I believe they're going to have a ladder match, like 6-way or 8-way for the Cruiserweight title. I think Neville defends in the big scramble this year. Usually they give the IC title ladder match, or the ladder match of the IC title. I think this time it goes to the Cruiserweight division, and Neville defends against a bunch of guys. But I think it's a good match, and I think he retains his title here, so Neville wins. Then we have for the tag team titles, Gallows and Anderson against Enzo and Cass. Enzo and Cass are kind of getting the crowd turning on them. The crowd's kind of over Enzo right now, being the squirmish little douchebag face. And Cass is limited in the ring. So the crowd's kind of turning on these guys. I still love these guys. I think they're great. I enjoy their promos. I enjoy their childishness more than New Day's. I like them, actually. Guns and Gallows just won the belts like last month. They finally, after all the months of getting jobbed out unfairly, finally won the titles. So they're certainly not going to turn around, a month later and lose them here to Enzo and Cass. So this should be a good match. I like both teams. They're both pretty solid in the ring. They can do enough. I think they'll match up well here. Should be a decent match. But I think Gallows and Anderson retain the titles. It's still a short title reign. They deserve a long one. They should retain. And I think they also go into WrestleMania in a multi-team tag match. I think it's going to be Enzo and Cass, The New Day, Cesaro and Sheamus, and Guns and Gallows in a 4-way tag team title match at WrestleMania on the pre-show probably. So that's what I'm expecting for the future. But I think Gallows and Anderson retain here. For the Raw Women's title, we have Bayley defending against Charlotte. It's been this common thing where Charlotte loses the title on Raw all the time and then wins it back on pay-per-view because she has the undefeated streak on pay-per-view. She's never lost on pay-per-view yet. I think this continues here, sadly. I was hoping that Charlotte and Sasha would bounce the belt back and forth, and that would end with Charlotte, and she would get a long title run at the end of it, or with Sasha, either way. But they're continuing bouncing the belt back and forth between Bayley and Charlotte as well. In a way, it's cool because you never know who's going to win, and because they're presenting all these girls as being equals and being able to beat each other on any given night, except Bayley and Sasha only win on Raw, and Charlotte wins on the big shows. So it's still kind of predictable in a way too. So it's kind of cool and it's kind of annoying. But these two had a very good match at the Royal Rumble. I really enjoyed it. They had a very good match on Raw when Bayley won. I saw that on YouTube. So they have good chemistry. They've had good matches lately. I think this is going to be a great match as well. I hope it gets a lot of time. I think Charlotte actually wins it back here. I think the end of her streak on pay-per-view comes at WrestleMania. They build it up for an entire year plus. So I think her being 20-something and 0 in pay-per-view, losing finally at WrestleMania to the person who goes on to become the long-term champ, whether it's Sasha or Bayley. I think one of those two wins at Mania and finally holds the belt uninterrupted for a while. But up until now, Charlotte hasn't lost on pay-per-view. I don't see a reason for her to lose at Fastlane, so I think she wins the belt here against Bayley in more hotshot booking. And then we have the two main events, so to speak. Roman Reigns against Braun Strowman. This one for me is the hardest one to call on the entire show. Strowman's been red hot recently. His wrestling is getting better and better. His promos are fun to watch. And he's evolving. He's come a long way in the last year. And of course, Roman Reigns is hated by most of the crowd. I like Reigns a lot, but most of the crowd does not. This one's hard to call because you can't really have your big boy Reigns lose on a B show like this, but you also don't want to halt Strowman's growth and development and how hot he's been going into WrestleMania. But I think Strowman gets the win here by chicanery. I think they're setting up for Reigns against Taker at Mania. They need something more. Reigns threw Taker out at Rumble, so Taker needs to get his revenge here and get one up on Reigns for Reigns to want the match at Mania. So I think Taker's gong hits and either the lights go out or the gong hits, one of the two, or both. and Strowman gets a roll up, or Reigns turns around into a big slam and Strowman gets the win. So Taker gets his distraction. This way, Taker gets even with Reigns, sets up Reigns versus Taker at WrestleMania, keeps Strowman hot, and gives Strowman the win here that he needs to go forward. And I think Strowman actually wins the Andre Battle Royal at WrestleMania because he has no singles program right now and he's got to stay hot. So I think Reigns versus Taker at Mania and Strowman wins the Battle Royal. I think Strowman wins this match here, and I'm very excited to see if it's good or not because I think Reigns is underrated in the ring, and I think Strowman's getting better and better in the ring. So I'm really intrigued with this match to see how the actual in-ring technical work goes. It's not going to be, Harley Race or anything. It's not going to be Brett and Shawn. It's not going to be Benoit and Eddie. But it could be a solid big man matchup with some power moves. Then your main event, the one I'm least looking forward to because I think of how the outcome's going to go. I would love for nothing more. Anyway, Kevin Owens defends his World Championship against Goldberg. I would love for nothing more than for Lesnar to come out, finally get one up on Goldberg after all this time. Goldberg's gotten him at every turn. Lesnar coming out to distract Goldberg. For Owens to get the win makes a lot of sense here, but it won't happen in my opinion. Everything's been saying that Vince wants Lesnar and Goldberg as the main event, and he wants Lesnar and Goldberg for the world title, even though the match stunk 12 years ago when they did it at WrestleMania, and now he's putting it higher on the card, even though it doesn't need stakes, because Lesnar and Goldberg have names for themselves. So he's unnecessarily going to give Goldberg the belt here, I think, in like a minute or two. I think Goldberg is going to squash Owens like he's been squashing Lesnar and everybody else. So I think your long title reign for Owens for the last 7 months or whatever it's been is going to just go away here. It's going to go to shit to a part-time 55-year-old man, Granddad Goldberg. So you're once again putting down your current long-term hardworking talent for these part-time old men who can't wrestle. So I'm very upset about this, but I'm pretty sure Goldberg's going to win the belt. I would love for Owens to win it. I think what's going to happen is Owens and Jericho already have the hot feud, and they already have Jericho's U.S. title to fight for. So Vince is going to think they don't need a world championship. So you're going to see Owens against Jericho for the U.S. title, which both guys deserve a much higher program and better. But they do match up well together. It's going to be awesome. So they have the heat for their program, so they're not going to need the world title. So Vince is going to give Goldberg and Lesnar the world title at Mania. So Goldberg wins, beats Owens, and I think pretty quick fashion here because he can't go for longer than 3 minutes. So I think Owens gets squashed here and ruins his entire title run. Oh well, it is what it is. Tell me in the comments below who you guys think are going to win. How did I do in my predictions, and what are your predictions? List them down below. What match is going to steal the show, and what do you guys want to see? Tell me in the comments, guys. Until the next opening bell, guys, I will see you guys hopefully on Sunday night or Monday morning with my Fastlane review video. So come and check back for that so that I can give you guys the results and what I thought of the matches. But until then, guys, take care and stay safe. I'll see you soon.